to take a little bit of time and discuss what I look for in a hunting property. Now, I mean, this is definitely specifically Ohio. You know, I mainly have hunted Ohio, some West Virginia, some other states, but primarily Ohio. And, you know, so I kind of wanted to go over a checklist of a few of the things that I'm looking for when I'm looking to buy a property or potentially lease a property. We're currently sitting on a property that I'm looking at to purchase for myself, and I figured this would be a good time to kind of go over the things that I'm looking for. This property checks off most of my list. There's a few things that, you know, would change, but it is what it is. So first off, one of the main things that I'm looking for is an east access. Now, that's not to say that you can't kill a deer from a west access property. But an east makes your life so much easier, especially if it's a property you're going to keep for a while. It just makes accessing everything, because your predominant wind is going to be west, southwest, northwest, and it just gives you so many options. If you can access on the north and the south end of that east access, that's even better. And this property here has that. Next thing I'm looking for is I like to have some open ground to work with. It's not, you know, necessarily a must. You can open things up in the timber through forestry project or something like that, but I like to have some open ground, and this actually has quite a bit of open ground. Probably 25 acres out of 78 are going to be old pasture slash hayfield. So that gives you a ton of room to do some projects with, whether that's putting in, you know, CRP, whether that's food plots, corn, ag, whatever you want to do with it. It gives you so many options. Second is, or I guess third at this point, would be timber. And so, you know, for myself, being in the timber industry, I like to have that return on investment right away. That gives you some money to not only make the payments on the property, but also to offset any projects that you want to do on the property. This property here has a good bit of timber on it, enough that I feel it's worth you know, buying the property, and it's going to help me offset some of the projects that I would like to do on this property. But on top of that, I like to have a little bit of mixture of the timber. So if it's just solid mature timber, that's not the end of the world to me. You know, I feel like I can do a project, you know, cutting on that, and it's going to take several years. So if you're not willing to wait several years to see the results of that harvest, you know, you're better off buying a property that already has the thick bedding cover that you're looking for. But for myself, you know, I like to have that return on investment. But this also has sort of a mixture where down kind of along the fields and stuff, there's already some pretty thick areas which work really, really well for that first layer of bedding to happen for some of these does and stuff. Then you'll have your bucks bedding further up on the ridge, generally speaking. Another thing that I'm looking for is ravines, ditches, or areas that you can access some of the back parts of the property. This one here is a little bit tricky on that front. That's one of the areas that it's not super strong in, but there's enough terrain happening that I feel like I can still get back there if I need to. Another bonus is there's some public land on the back end of this that I can, you know, circle in from the back, which is a long walk, but it is possible. And last but not least, I like to have a top access. If I could, you know, have everything, a property, you know, the perfect property, it would have top access. This does not. It is a bottom access. That can be worked with. Some bottom access are worse than others. This one here I feel like is pretty workable. There's a lot of fence lines, timber fingers, different things like that that you can use to access the timber or the edges with a little bit more secluded food plots. So, you know, all in all, this property has a lot of the aspects that I'm looking for. It's got good road frontage for the resale. If I want to, I can parcel this piece up and still, you know, have two nice parcels. And ultimately, you know, you don't want to overpay for a property. I feel like this area is undervalued a little bit, and I feel like I can buy this property, hold on to it for a while, and do better on the resale. And you know, if I can't get the timber on a property, I like to be buying my property with equity already in it. I purchased a property this summer, was that scenario. It was only 15 acres, but the asking price was quite a bit under what market value was, and so I was willing to buy that because I had instant equity. So I do look at a property from the hunting standpoint, but primarily for myself at this point, I'm looking for an investment piece that I know I'm going to do well on long term, that I know is going to resell well. Because if a property doesn't set up well and you take timber off, there's very few buyers going to be interested in that property. So then you're going to have to hang on to it for quite a while. Whereas something like this, the structure of the property is so good already, you can take some timber off, it's not going to offset the value of that property. So super excited about this piece. Hopefully that helps you guys in your search for a property, and hopefully this next year you can be hunting a big deer on a new property. See you guys in the next one.